Stevia Rebaudiana, Bertoni. Please check availability and legal status before start planting and growing stevia. Regulatory status varies from country to country. Please consult your doctor or other healthcare professional before taking and consuming stevia and stevia product. This is what stevia seeds look like. I sow stevia seeds by broadcasting them evenly across the soil surface. Please keep soil moist until seeds germinate. In cool climate, you could start stevia indoors and plant them outside after your last spring frost has passed. For me, optimal temperature for stevia germination is 22 degrees Celsius. Stevia seeds start to germinate. This is what stevia cotyledon look like. For me, stevia seed usually germinate between day 8 to day 16. For me, stevia success germination rate depend on seed age, seed's quality, humidity, light, and temperature. Stevia true leaf start to emerge. In this video, I use 10 stevia seeds. My germination rate for this video is 50%. For me, on average, stevia seed viability are about 6 months. Using fresh stevia seed, less than 1 month after collection, will have higher germination rate. Stevia seed viability is greatly affected by its quality at the time of collection, its treatment between collection, and the conditions in which it is stored. For me, optimal temperature range for growing stevia, 15 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. My minimum temperature when growing stevia is 24 degrees Celsius. My maximum temperature when growing stevia is 33 degrees Celsius. My average humidity when growing stevia are about 86%. Stevia prefer to grow in tropical or subtropical climates. Stevia usually grown as annual in cool climates. Stevia lifespan is perennial in tropical and subtropical climates. Stevia USDA hardiness, zone 8 and up. It seemed my plant had been infected by damping off disease, and one of the seedling have wither away. Damping off disease are caused by several different pathogens or mold that thrive in cool and wet conditions. Damping off disease will kill or weaken seeds or seedlings before or after they germinate. Damping off disease is most common disease in young seedlings, not just in stevia seedling. 2 more seedlings wither away. To prevent or minimize your seedling or seeds form infected from damping off disease, we can sterilize all used pots and starter trays before using it. Don't reuse potting mix. Use a potting mix with good drainage. Water to keep it moist but not soggy. Don't use cool water, 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, to water your plant. If you start your plant indoor, provide 12 to 16 hours of light. In my case, my plant infected with damping off disease due to splashing water from the rain. This is due to monsoon season in my climate. To resolve this problem, I stop watering my plant and give them plenty of heat, 24 to 30 degrees Celsius, and light, full sun from sunrise until 12 p.m. If my growing temperature greater than 30 degrees Celsius, I need to protect my plant from direct sunlight. Soil I use for growing stevia contain cocoa peat, red burn soil, micro, fine sand, old humus, and charcoal. You can use whatever growing media available to your convenience. As long as you use well-drained soil to grow stevia, you will be fine. Also, if you can, please make sure that your growing media are sterilized and clean. By choosing sterilized and clean growing media will minimize new seedlings from becoming infected from disease-causing pathogens. Stevia prefer to grow in slightly acidic soils, pH 6.1 to 6.5. My soil pH when I try to grow stevia are about 7 pH. You can measure your soil pH by using pH meters. Stevia also tolerates growing in infertile sandy soils. Stevia will not grow in saline soils. Container size I use for growing stevia, height 20 centimeters. Width 30 centimeters. You also can grow stevia in bigger container than mine. The bigger the container, the bigger root system will develop and will resulting bigger plant. Stevia mature size, height 0.3 to 0.6 meters. Width 0.3 to 0.6 meters. When growing stevia, please make sure your container have good drainage. Waterlogged container will promote root rot. For me, the advantage for growing in container is gives me more control over sunlight, moisture, and temperature. If grow stevia in the garden, space plants around 60 centimeters apart. Stevia requires full sun to thrive. This herb grows best in cooler summer weather with strong sunlight, but generally fares poorly in high temperatures. Stevia need at least 8 hours of full sun to thrive. On average, my water usage are about 400 milliliters every time I water my plant. In my climate, I only water my plant when the topsoil is a little bit dry. Stevia is somewhat drought-tolerant plant, but prefer to be in moist condition. Generally, stevia irrigation is required when the stem tips begin drooping. Most sources I read recommend frequent, shallow irrigations because stevia's feeder roots tend to be produced near the soil surface. For growing stevia in garden bed, plants need about 1 inch of rain per week during the growing season. You can use a rain gauge to check, to see if you need to add water. If you water using overhead sprinklers, water early to minimize disease problems. Time I water my stevia is between 7 to 8 in the morning. Water usage depend on container size, container type, weather, and climate you live in. Plant begin to wilt due to not enough water and high temperatures. Your water usage may be different than me. For me, it's easier to overwater than underwater. Overwatering will promote root rot. Always water stevia at the root zone. Don't water from overhead. Also, if you can, please avoid watering in the evening. Since at night, water tends to rest in the soil around the roots, which encourages fungal growth and insects infestation. This is why morning watering is preferable to evening watering as the plant has time to dry before the sun goes down. I do some weed control by tilling the soil. Tilling is the practice of aerating the soil to permit moisture and air to permeate, encouraging root growth, controlling weed growth, and integrating fertilizers into the soil. Stevia appears to have low nutrient requirements. I don't use any fertilizer when growing stevia. If you see your plant is struggling and want to use fertilizer, please do not overfeed the plant, as this will resulting in more leaves production but reduce the flavor and aroma. Some sign of overfertilization are defoliation, very slow or no growth, yellowing and wilting of lower leaf, and browning leaf tips. Stevia rebaudiana is a plant species in the genus Stevia of the family Asteraceae. Stevia is also commonly known as candy leaf, sweet leaf, sugar leaf, sweet herb of Paraguay, or sweet honey leaf. Stevia rebaudiana, native to Brazil and Paraguay. Genus epithet, Stevia, named after 16th century Spanish botanist and physician Pedro Jaime Esteve. Species epithet, Rebaudiana, named after 19th century Paraguayan chemist Ovidio Rebaudy, who first isolated and extracted the sweet compounds from the plant. Stevia product has been an alternative sweetener in Japan for many decades as a dietary food. The legal status of stevia as a food additive or dietary supplement varies from country to country. In the United States, high-purity stevia glycoside extracts have been generally recognized as safe since 2008. But stevia leaf and crude extracts do not have GRAS certification from Food and Drug Administration approval for use in food product. The European Union approved stevia additives in 2011. The chemical compounds that produce its sweetness in stevia are various steviol glycosides, mainly stevioside and rebaudioside. These steviol glycosides are 300 times sweeter compared to sugar. Please consult your doctor or other healthcare professional before taking and consuming stevia and stevia product. There are also very few reported cases of stevia allergy. In theory, according to WebMD, people who are sensitive to ragweed and related plants may also be sensitive to stevia. Since stevia, ragweed, chrysanthemums, marigolds, daisies, and related plants is in the Asteraceae, compositae plant family. According to Wikipedia, stevia remained banned for all uses until the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994, after which the FDA revised its stance and permitted stevia to be used as a dietary supplement, although still not as a food additive. Please check availability and legal status before start planting and growing stevia. Regulatory status varies from country to country. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos.